Let's get it.
We
Welcome all.
we gotta add some more. We gotta add some more to that.
I'll tell Ty that feedback. I'm gonna put, please tell us who you are, where you're from.
Yes. We need all that. We need all that love. We need all that love. The crazy thing is that I don't actually get a chance to see who all is on here. So I noticed that yesterday when I was on my live stream, there's a little eye box at the top, and you put the cursor on it, and it'll show you how many people are on Facebook, how many people are in YouTube. So I just learned that yesterday.
Oh, really? I
Really?
just welcome.
We got on black. We got on black. We got on a little black. You be killing it with the hats and stuff, though. Oh man,
This is my favorite one.
that's that smooth criminal hat right there.
I love it. Welcome everyone to our live The Lupi G and Elise show.
Here,
We're gonna deal machine your house.
right, that part. That part. I just got done picking up rent today, and just found out that pipes bursted and stuff under my grandmother's church, and it's also a gas leak, so he had to shut off the gas over there at the church. That was my first creative deal.
I
And
would love to hear about it. I'm moving this. Okay, well, today I wanted to, as you come on, please tell us who you are, where you're from. I'm Elise. This is,
Lupi G.
and I'm in Indianapolis. Lupi,
I'm in Houston,
Houston.
and I'm deal machine your house all over the nation. We get this app going overseas. I'm taking me a trip, and I'm going across the globe with this deal machine stuff. You hear me?
That's what's up. I'm so excited because last time we did an actual like role playing cold call on the fly, which was epic. But I think after we've talked, doing one that's like, we talked about when are best times to cold call, some of the strategies behind that. And I really want to tap into your expertise about that to, answer any questions people have. I'd love to know first, Lupi, what got you into cold calling and why do you cold call?
What got me into cold calling was because cold calling is one of the fastest ways to get to create contact with the seller. For those that don't know, real estate investing and real estate in general is a contact sport, and you have to initiate contact in order to accomplish any goal or score any big score. You have to initiate contact. There are different methods of initiating contact. Cold calling pretty much gets you to them a lot faster. So that's why I speak very highly on cold calling. Don't get me wrong, text messaging and text blasting, which we can't say text blasting anymore, but text messaging also works. I'm not familiar with doing the RVMs. I think that had came and kind of went, but
Yeah.
I still know people that are doing it. Direct mail. I send those deal machine postcards out here and there. You have to be very strategic with those because you can actually run through a lot of marketing dollars if not doing it correctly. And I wanted to make sure that I mastered one thing first, and that's why the phone is my go-to, and it's been my go-to until I just really get to mastering that phone and having everybody that's a part of my team mastering the phone also. Then I don't want to start kind of drifting off to too many different things right now. But text messages, I have tried that for a while. The thing about text messaging is you have to make sure you're dealing with a company that has high quality data, because if not, you'll be burning through marketing dollars with sending out a lot of text messaging in bulk also.
Agreed. I know that you were on one of the trainings for our message engine, so you saw our texting platform. It is just being transparent with everyone. It is getting really difficult for texting just because the carriers are now putting up more regulations and rules, kind of like RVM. Why it died out is because, it started being illegal and you couldn't do that anymore. So texting is starting to get more regulated with carriers and a little bit more difficult. But going into, I love that you said getting to be a master of one thing first. I feel like there's so much out there, and when you get started, it's overwhelming. And I think that's what puts some people in paralysis analysis, because they're like, well, am I doing the right thing? Should I be doing more than this? And it all just kind of blows up. So you stuck with like cold calling. Could you walk through your process with that? I know one thing I told a couple of people who I wanted to come on here, how, like, when is the best time to calls? How do you go strategizing that? Hey, Kip, what's up, Kip?
Hey, Kip. Um, so, man, repeat that one more time.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It was a lot of questions in one. First one is what is your process when you first started out, before you had a team calling? What was your process of making sure you were consistent on the phones?
It was just waking up early. The earlier you wake up, the more quicker you have the morning jitters out of you. You have the morning jitters, they're gone. You get up as early as possible, knock out a few things. That way you can basically be pumped up for the phone. I'm just now realizing that there's a perfect time to call people. I've been in a business of hunting houses and things like that for 2 years. This is my second year now. About like my second year and a month or so. And I'm just now realizing that there is a perfect time to call. And I wasn't getting up early enough. Well, not getting on the phones early enough, because from 8 in the morning to about 10 or 11, like, people are literally picking up the phones. And I wouldn't have guessed it. You know, it took me 2 years to actually figure it out. The earlier, just pushing it earlier, pushing it early. Okay, we're gonna see how many times. What we were trying to do was keep track of how many times we got cursed out, and that's what led the whole point of getting to the phone at 8, because we were noticing we wasn't getting cursed out at 8. So now
Oh,
I've been thinking about pushing it to 7:30, just to see if 7:30 might be getting close to getting those curse outs, because I know 7 for sure. People really not. I know 7 in the morning. People might give you the business. So I'm like, man, should we? Had a meeting with my team, and was like, I'm starting to think we may need to get on the phones about 7:30, just to see, just to really see if that's an ideal time, because once 11 and 12 o'clock come, it shows that people are doing something else other than picking up their phones. And by the time 12 and 1 o'clock come, it is real quiet.
what okay, so my question with that is, you're not like scanning through these to see if someone's on like Pacific time, whereas if you called them at 8, it's like 5 a.m. their time, right? Like, you're just calling the call. Like, it doesn't matter if they're in a different time zone.
No, 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 it does matter. And
Okay.
one thing about me is that I have been to a few places, and they are in different time zones. So I've deal machine houses that are in California. I've deal machine houses that are in Las Vegas. And when I extracted those leads, a lot of those leads, I just put it into one list and got them skip traced and put them in a dollar, and forgot that I had been to California driving for dollars and deal machining houses. Las Vegas, I went crazy in Las Vegas, because Las Vegas it seemed like it may be a big city, but everything is very small in Las Vegas. So I had covered a lot of area within a small amount of time out there. And so I actually did quite well out there driving for dollars. So I was catching myself actually calling people on accident, through some of these leads that I have in my deal machine list. So yeah, you have to be aware of that. You don't want to call those people too early, because you know
Then you're going to get cussed out.
right. And and just to speak on that, so once it get quiet time, quiet in your market. So let's say I'm on Central Time, and quiet time usually get around about 12 or 1 ish. For those that are in other markets on the West Coast or on Mountain Time, then you can actually click into those calls, chime in on those calls, before those quiet hours start out there, so you can still be productive on a dollar. But if you're really focused on your market, and you're really not going outside your market, then you really have to be aware of what times to make calls, and make those adjustments, because you can actually be doing something more productive at those hours where there's just no answers.
Do you how does your cadence go when you're calling? Like, do you leave a voicemail on the first call, or do you like wait? Do you ever leave voicemails?
So I leave voicemails when I'm hand picking leads and I'm really trying to get in touch with somebody and I'm calling them from my phone. So there are systems that you can use that that are dialer numbers back to back to back to back. So I actually use call tools. I've been using call tools for some time. I'm really just getting a understanding of what the system have to offer, and just really starting to really get a grip on what the system does. It's been an amazing opportunity to be able to learn the things that I've been learning. But if you're dialing by hand, I suggest you call, hang up, give it a minute or about 30 seconds or so, hit them right back.
Ooh,
Then
yeah.
you can leave a voicemail or a text and letting them know why you're calling, and that's better than a ringless voicemail.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's actually a really good idea to just call them again, because they're more likely to pick up if you're calling back a second time. They may think that it's someone they just don't have a number for in their phone, because I don't usually pick up phone numbers that I don't know unless they call again and I'm like, oh, this is someone who really needs to get a hold of me.
Right, right. So when you're on a dollar, it's just continually dialing. So you don't have that. You have it if you use a different part of the dollar. So on call tools, they have a preview dollar, which you dial one by one, and it just click, click, and it dial. Then you have the predictive dollar where it calls about three people at a time or something like that, and it's constantly calling. And that's where you don't get the opportunity to keep calling the same number and over again. And then the power dollar is where it's just going hard, just running through numbers, and just hanging up on them if you're not able to call, and it's keeping it moving.
Doug Smith.
Hey, what's happening, Doug? Do you ever call at night? Yes. So the ideal times to call at night is in between 4 or 5, and then you want to carry that time to about 8:30. So that's usually when I'm able to get on during the day. I'm kind of monitoring calls and making sure that my guys are on point with their flow and their delivery, and just making sure the system and stuff is moving properly. Understanding what's going on with our leads and things like that. So my ideal time to get on is about 5 o'clock, and I can get on about 5 to 8. But periodically throughout the day, like I'm calling people myself, but I'm a hand dialer. So I hand dial people because like I'm actually homing in on certain people, and or I'm following up because I'm the transaction coordinator. And me being a transaction coordinator, I'm actually putting the plays in motion, putting the plays together as far as giving out the offers.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I definitely, Doug, way to hustle on top of your W-2. That's awesome. And like Lupi said, I know when I was in my sales job, they always said call after 5 o'clock, because you'll get people who are mad, but they're also the people who are working late too, that
Hmm.
are hustlers just like yourself. And so um, that's a really good question, Doug.
What market are you in, Doug? And what you been in marketing and knowing about the right times to make calls? You hearing me say that just for me from a learning experience. Um, you kind of already have heard that those are the proper times to call yourself. So I guess I hit it right on the money.
You did hit it right on the money. We always had to, our specific, we had to do 84 dials between 3 and 5 every day, but they always told us to go after that because of that. Hey, Elise and Lupi, good stuff. Hey, Mark.
Hey,
Shout
Mark.
out from Baton Rouge.
So Mark, I'm actually gonna start marketing to Baton Rouge. I think you may want to get with me as soon as possible because Baton Rouge is like one of my targets and it's not that far from me. I think you might want to reach out to me and holler at me.
I'm getting your Instagram up because we always forget how many dots you have in your name, your Instagram handle, and so I'm pulling it up so that we know. Hell, you got.
Doug say he's in Indianapolis, so he's out there. Doug is out there.
Doug, you're out in my neck of the woods. I feel like Doug and I have talked before.
Right. So Elise just put my handle up there for Instagram. So reach out to me and hey man, reach out to me. Like my number is actually on Instagram. Like that's my real number. I should just put it on this DealMachine shirt on my next DealMachine.
You really do. You need to.
Yeah, my number is in there.
I'm actually going to be working with Lupi on getting some deals done. So I'm hoping we can take you guys on that journey as well.
Oh man.
Because I have quite a few leads that I've added personally, but being honest with you, fam, I just don't have time to follow up with them. And I don't want my hard work to just be sitting there in my DealMachine account.
Right. And like for us to be able to document that the whole journey and process to us closing our first deal together, that'll be like super cool.
Hopefully it's in my own backyard.
No, it's not. It's gonna be in your own backyard. And the great thing about it, like I can't wait to make it happen because I'm getting on the first thing smoking and I'm flying out there as soon as we close it. And just show you how much I appreciate you and the opportunity. Like it's a long time coming. But yeah, I want to document this whole thing.
That'll be so much fun. So guys, watch out for that. That's going to definitely be happening. I already went through, I told Lupi, I sorted through my leads to get like the best ones that I've had out there because I walk my neighborhood all the time and things change constantly. So I use our tagging system. If you guys don't know about that, you can check that out. Or if you have questions, let me know. But I use tagging for my priority leads in my actual area because I've pulled lists in this area too. But to put that extra like motivation onto those leads, I can say, hey, these are like super distressed. It's been, because a lot of them I've pulled already. So I just walk around those same areas and I see if there's any more pain points there besides the fact that it's been vacant for so long. Like I tag them with all the other different priority or pain points. Oh, yep. Mark Oxen's in his neighborhood too. Good.
Hold on. He said he's not on Insta. Can you text me his number, Elise?
Oh yeah.
Do that for me? Because my phone is way over there. I don't even want to move.
I got you.
Right. So Mark, Elise is sending you my number. I mean, she's sending me your number, and what I'll do is I'll give you a call whenever we get off the live stream, and I'll touch bases with you. But yeah, my brother, that'll be a great opportunity, man.
I'm glad that Mark walks his neighborhood too.
How many people do we have on here?
Right now we have 14. We have 7 from YouTube and 7 from Facebook.
Come on, everybody. Y'all put where y'all from on there because you never know. Lupi may be already marketing to your area. So I may have access to the MLS out there. You know, I may be able to run numbers and do all type of good things. So let me know where you are because you never know. You never know what market I may be in or jumping into next. There's a lot of good and great markets to jump into, and it's just super cool. Eric, what's happening? I'm in Houston also, man.
Mark hooked you up. I just sent Lupi the text message with your number, and I just made sure I looked it over like 3 times.
Okay,
Mark,
so
Eric.
yeah, Eric, holla at me, man. One thing I know about this Houston, man, like right now, if you don't know Spanish, you almost in last place out here right now.
Doug, I'm happy to go walking for dollars with you anytime. We're in our office is in Fountain Square. Happy to have. I'm thinking that maybe we should do like since it's getting warmer here in Indy, like a meetup, a virtual meetup outside. That'd be fun.
Right.
Oh, Mark, I will definitely actually make a note, and I can connect you with some. I don't know if they're exactly in Baton Rouge, but I know people that are in your state at least.
Yep, I do too. I know people out there in that state, man, and doing great things. And hey, man, you doing great things also because you on here with us. So you got to start right now. You on here with us. You doing great. So
South Florida, we've got.
okay.
Where's Conroe?
Conroe is like right up north. Is north of Houston. So you have Conroe, the Woodlands. It's like as soon as you pass Spring, so it's not that far. It's
Jamal, that's a nice picture, my friend.
Yeah, Jamal. Hey,
I got you, Lupi. I'll be here.
About reaching out to Lupi, reach out to me and let's connect. Especially if you're really looking forward to catapulting your experience and your journey, and you know you're trying to make that move. Quick question, Elise. What other questions did you have for me? Because it was like 3 or 4 questions.
I know. I had like 50. Well, my next one, I want to make sure we get all these so that people know that you can network with each other in here too.
Yep.
So we've got Fort Worth.
Yeah. I'm actually tapping into that market. Kissimmee. I had a property subject to in Kissimmee that I could not move, and man, I could not move that property for nothing because she owed too much. They owed too much. It was like they had the property and one person died, left it to somebody, then the other person died, and then it was just crazy. Couldn't get nobody to move on it. She had owed like 58,000 on that property.
Mark, I want the whole I-10 I-49 corridor. All right, duly noted.
Do you work tax liens, Lupi? Yes. So I'm doing tax liens out here in the great state of Texas. So I'm calling tax liens and stuff for like Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio area. So yeah, I like to work on tax liens. That's motivation right there. The tax liens are always some type of motivation. Maryland.
Tracy's in Maryland. Harford City. I don't know where that's at. Tracy, are you?
Harford County.
Oh, Harford County. My bad.
It might be the city.
Pete from Vancouver. Oh, you're in a hot state. Toronto wholesaler in Atlanta and Buffalo. Dang. You're also in.
So you in Toronto, you in Canada doing deals in Atlanta and Buffalo. Definitely like to hear more about that, man, and how that's going for you. How has the Atlanta market been treating you? That is a great question because, man, I've looked into Atlanta, and what's going out there is they have more $500,000 and up properties being sold than there are ugly houses, and these are cash deals. So, like, I don't know what people are going after right now, but if you can get a $400,000 to $500,000 house at a discount, you know, Atlanta is one of those markets, man. Right now, it's like, at least when I told you, it was like 160 or 150 houses that had sold for cash out there in the past like 90 to 100 days or something like that. And it ended up being like majority of it was like 100 of them it was like $400,000+ houses.
Oh, so we have 2 people I'm pretty close with through DealMachine that are in Atlanta, and the houses there, it's insane how the Atlanta market is right now.
But they're saying that there's a lack of inventory and it's not that many deals out there. And I don't know.
I haven't talked to them in a little bit, but The ones I know are still doing pretty good out there. Mark has some more. Seeing tax lien as low hanging fruit. There's long-term cash flow opportunities.
Right. So that's gonna be one of the reasons why you and I have a talk, man. So like I said, I'll be reaching out to you when we get off the live, and we'll really talk. So looking forward to speaking with you. Just
All
know if
right.
a 713 number hits you, that's me.
I'm going to loop around and go back into, I'm going to loop around Lupi, and I'm going to go into my next question, which was, so you started off, I'd like, because if some people are here like starting off cold calling, but you say you have a team, how did you know that you were ready to add more people to your team? Like what did that look like?
My team is not big, so I've tried actually doing the virtual assistants, and it just really was being a waste of money having to train them and lose on opportunities because of the language barrier and just consistent hangups and the virtual assistant sounded like a robot and things like that. So it was starting to become more of a headache than seeing a proper return. I had a couple okay virtual assistants, but it just seemed like I was really burning through money, and I wanted to reach out to people that were like minded and wanted to make more steps in the real estate business that wasn't able to do it just as of yet. So I've reached out to a few of those individuals. So that's how I've been kind of building my team.
I love it. So they do more than cold call for you then?
No, so the people that are cold calling, they're just cold calling because my thing is to make sure that they see that my process work and getting a deal on the table and getting it closed is most important. And I have a couple different markets that I'm in, so I've been dealing with a few different people that may be in other markets and stuff also. And
And
also doing coaching too. So I have a couple students that are in other areas. So just training people to not be one track minded and only go after the ugly houses. Because there's a different type of market out there, and is a pretty house market too. So I deal machine ugly houses and pretty houses, and I just have an eye for both, and learning that like the cash flow opportunities, we can't miss out on those. Wholesaling, you're just gonna continue to chase another check.
right. Um, all right. I do want to answer Robert. How does direct mail work? Plans on sending direct mail instead of cold calling. Totally get that, Robert. I've done more direct mail since starting at DealMachine. If you don't mind me taking this one, Lupi. The direct mail, you can set up to be repeat. Highly recommend that, especially if you're in, and I believe, Robert, you are in DealMachine because I think I've seen your name before. But you can set it up on rotating through it. So you can either do that campaigns or you can set it up to repeat the same mailer. Either way, I would highly recommend that. 30 days is what I do, because if you're just starting out, to make sure that you're staying within your budget, it's nice to know that it's going to hit once a month instead of if you do every 21 days, like we default, you may be getting into more money than you want to be spending. And Lupi kind of mentioned that earlier, where you can get caught up in spending a lot on mail marketing really easily.
With results.
And so you have to be intentional with like making sure that you're starting it, you're continuing it. And that's the repeat part really helps with being consistent with follow-up. Our campaign feature is where you can do different postcards each time, which is what I recommend. Going through and putting, like, you can switch it up. I know Lupi's had his face on his postcards, but he wants to put his logo instead. You can switch it up that way to see what things work. You can, I've done that personally too. I got a call off of my logo, but I also just switched to my picture and I got a call off of that not too long ago. So but the biggest thing with mail marketing is making it personalized. Going in there, saying you're a local investor. I would say, that you live down the street, say you drove by their house, like, so you're not just sounding like a corporation that's going to go and buy their home. Make it, you need to write it like you're writing to a neighbor. And that's what's going to make them feel more comfortable, because this is a very uncomfortable situation for a lot of them. And they're very vulnerable. They don't know who to trust. So you need to be that person.
And to add on top of that, you have to make sure you sounding like a small guy. Because if you're trying to make yourself seem out to be like a big company and stuff like that, man, that's when things like really kind of get they get leery, because they're gonna think that you're gonna come, you're gonna give them a super low offer. You're not gonna give them more than one option. They're gonna think that you like a big bad wolf. You just want to come blow their house down and take it from them, and you really don't want to sound like a big company. You definitely want to sound like you like a little mom and pop type business.
Yeah.
What do you do when the numbers? Oh, so man, and that's a great question, because that's one thing about learning your market is an absolute must, man. Like, you have to know your numbers and be able to run numbers. But when the numbers that you pull don't work, I definitely need to understand what you mean by that. Or the numbers that you're pulling are not numbers that are comparable with the property. Like, what do you mean by the numbers you pull don't work? I definitely want to be able to touch bases on that, because you can pull numbers that don't work, and it's depending on how you actually run numbers. How you running your comps. Everything has to be done strategically, and it needs to be mapped out in a manner to where that it is being in very much so comparison of the property that you're trying to run comps on. And if you can't find those properties, you may want to stretch your search out to a mile.
Oh, he said phone numbers, Lupi. I'm guessing like if they're just bad numbers that you're getting.
Wow, we've been getting a ton of that. There's been so much heavy marketing going on lately that there's a lot of people been changing their numbers. There's a lot of skip tracing companies that are not really giving like real good, data. And I've noticed that also. So I think we've all been taking a nice little punch on trying to find the right data provider lately. So
Well, can I slide in? Can I slide in a DealMachine update here?
Yeah, hit it.
I'm gonna hit it. So we have been hearing a lot about, it's not like we're putting a blind eye to people who are saying that they get bad numbers from our skip tracing in the past. I want you guys to know we have been searching for good data providers and testing them. We have someone on our team that's been comparing to other people's so that we can, see what we're getting is good. So try us out again. If you have in the past and weren't, I would highly recommend trying again. We've lowered the cost too. So it's 12 cents for enterprise and 14 cents for everyone else. So just try us again. But also, if numbers don't work, I've heard people say get creative and go on like Facebook or like reach out to them some way.
So what I was gonna suggest, is for you guys to go to True People Search.
Oh yeah.
And that's for free. You go to True People Search, and it's for free. So if it's one of those properties where you just really got your eye on it, like you see what I'm doing, I'm squinting, and you really got your eye on it, you like, yeah, I want that property. I gotta get it. I gotta find it. So those people, you go to truepeoplesearch.com. And what you want to do is, instead of looking up the person name, you look up the address. Once you look up the address, you'll see who all is associated with that property. And if you see a last name that is just like the last name of the person who actually owned the property, after you run through those numbers, and if that person don't have a good number, then you just find a relative. And I've been able to come across somebody. And I've been reaching out to actual property owners, and they've been upset because investors are reaching out only not to them, but their children and their grandkids, just trying to find them to ask them about a property. So there are people that are really on the hunt for these properties, and that having those conversations with the few property owners that I've recently had conversations with that are saying that people are actually calling their children and grandchildren and stuff like that, that let me know that it's people that are really out here getting their hustle on, and they not taking a no for an answer, and they're not just taking a person that don't have a number. They're not taking that as okay. I'm just moving on. No, people are actually pulling up the children, grandchildren. That like people are calling, and to do that, that means you're hand doing that. Go to True People Search. True People Search. You can find the relatives and stuff like that.
Robert, I did just send you a thing, and this is for anyone talking about budgeting for mail marketing or getting your first deal driving for dollars. We do have a free training. We also have a training on wholesaling and on our message SMS platform. So I posted a link in there. They're free, but it's just to give you like the basis. We do also Lupi has like a coaching program for anyone who's interested in that. These are just very basic trainings to get you on the right realistic path, especially if you're doing mail marketing, to make sure that you aren't breaking the bank. We want you to succeed. So we want to make sure that there's realistic expectations there. And
the 21-day rotation is not that bad because that gives you, you know, not a whole full month, because you have to think some people are reaching out to these people like maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. These like it's people that are heavy marketing. So if you have like unique postcards, you really don't want to wait a whole 30 days. The how y'all have it set at the 21-day pace, I think is a fairly decent pace for what they call it just one that's already set.
Repeat mail.
Right. As soon as you hit it and it's on repeat for those 21 days, I think they set that right at a good pace, you know.
And then, yes, I want to let you know after literally right when we're done with this will be replayed and available on our YouTube channel. So you can go back and watch it and make any notes. I try to go back and timestamp them too to help you guys out.
Yeah. Value.
That's what I was trying to say earlier in the text. I changed my marketing to speak directly to my neighbors and let them know that I'm in the yeah, I love that. That's literally my favorite thing. I feel like people talk to people, but Tracy has something for you, Lupi.
Not enough comps. Okay. I just had a situation last week where the area was extremely rural and the seller of the house couldn't be compared. Okay, so you know, in that situation, like you have to go outside the box. So what, like I said, what I do is when I run numbers, I would do the last house sold 2 years, 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
That was rehab last July. There was no other activity. So you're in an area where you want to just give that person the lowest price possible, because it seems like if nothing's not selling over there, then you may get a property under contract and have a hard time moving it, especially if nobody's buying out there. What city are you in?
She's in Maryland.
What city are you in? Because you put a county. I don't know if y'all go by counties or what, but what city are you in? Because I've heard, you know, stories about certain areas in Maryland where people just don't buy, and you know that can be in just about any market where you can't really find numbers and things like that. Hey, VD Grace, yeah, I haven't heard of that.
Let me Google real quick of where she's near.
Harvey, uh, Javier. Javier, am I pronouncing it right?
Have Ray where?
Yeah,
Okay.
we want to know who butchered it. Is it Javier or Havar? Havri. It would probably be two E's.
Yeah, you're probably right. I'm horrible with oh, she's right by the water. That's nice.
Well, wow. I don't
She's
know much about that market. How are you getting How are you get? Oh, you looking up where the area is?
Yeah, I'm literally Google Maps. Sorry, not to be a creep, but I just wanted to know where it was near. It's near Aberdeen, Maryland, and maybe it's like a what is this? West, east. It's east, northeast of Baltimore.
Oh, okay, okay. So how has wholesaling been out there for you in that market? If you don't mind me asking, Tracy.
Have is how it sounds.
Yeah, have the grace. Yeah. So Tracy, how have wholesaling been in that market? And what service are you using to try to run comparables? Are you using like a real estate agent or Zillow? Like what are you using for actual comps? There's nothing better than using the actual MLS. Like wow, you know you get a lot of value with befriending real estate agents and being able to have access to look at real numbers because some of these platforms they'll throw you off and have you giving like bad offers.
Yeah, I will say that I'm happy to see a lot of people have befriended realtors, or there are realtors that are going into investing and they're just like they have a Swiss Army knife with the MLS there with them.
Yeah, real estate agents was being it was like a feud between real estate agents and investors for a while, and it still seems as if it's still like that, you know, and and it's like the only time like I've had good relationships. I've had great opportunities to be able to work with real estate agents and bring properties to a closing, but it's only been because they may have bought well, I've bought a buyer to a table, but it wasn't for my real estate agent friend, you know. So usually a real estate agent will probably reach out to me for a client that they may have that want to purchase from me, but not
Oh,
necessarily, you know, the other way around. If I was able to find a real estate agent out here or in any market, man, that I can really just really work tough with, man, that right there take everything a long way from me. Yeah.
Tracy says she uses PropStream for.
Try Zillow, and when you put the property in Zillow, when you actually scroll down on the right side on Zillow, you'll see pictures of houses, and it'll have yellow dots on it. That means sold. If you see pictures at the bottom and they have red dots, that means that they are for sale. Those don't count. Those don't count at all. But you can use those to kind of get an overall view of what the real estate agents are listing the properties for. You can do that, and you know that's not bad. You know, you can still kind of get an overall view of where you are. You know, you still want to be well under that as a wholesaler. But if you see the pictures with the yellow dots, you know, those pictures right there are properties that have sold. So you definitely want to go on realtor.com or on Zillow.
Love it. Um, Another thing I wanted to ask about cold calling, especially with your team. I know we did a role play cold call and we got to hear like some of the questions that you ask and everything. To make sure that your team is on the same page, do you have them memorize a script or like a certain qualification sheet that you give them?
Yeah. So the people that are making calls with me, I have them on a for sale by owner script is what we call it, but it's a pretty house script. So this is a script where you either trying to see if you can get the property under contract as for a wholesale deal, and or you going in for the kill and asking them about terms. I actually just did a call, and I would love to play it for you guys. I don't know if I'll be able to play it, and you'll be able to hear it. But I actually just had a great call. I don't know if y'all want to hear it or not though. But
Why
it's
not? Why wouldn't we want to hear it? I want to hear it.
let me see. Let me see if I
Who wants to hear a great call with Lupi G? And is this a deal? Going to be a deal?
to me anything's possible. Let
Heck yeah.
me see. This only says 15 seconds, so that's not it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can find it real quick, you guys. Y'all bear with me. I want to see if I can pull it up without interrupting.
Well, and so I just want to, Tracy wants to hear it. So you got more people that want to hear it. Just so everyone knows, Lupi and I do have this show every other Wednesday.
Connected to the predicted dialer.
I had to actually click off of that.
You're good.
Let me see if I can find it real quick.
So come every other Wednesday.
All right.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Robert. Hello. Hey, good afternoon. Am I speaking with Mr. Robert?
Y'all can hear it?
No, sir. Oh, wow. Robert Hathaway? Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's the son.
Hey, well, glad that I got you on the phone, and my name is Lupi. Just reaching out. See that he.
That's the son.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Robert.
He gave me the dad number.
Oh.
I have to find that. I'm gonna get it to you. That it may just be too hot for TV, but I'm gonna get it to you. I'm gonna get it to you. You know, like especially for you. I'm gonna get it to you. But that was the son. I called the son, and that's another thing about the data. So that was actually a list I pulled for somewhere in Louisiana. I ain't gonna say where. It's for somewhere. Be honest with you, it's a Lake Charles league. So I had pulled a list for Lake Charles and skip traced it. And when I was on the dollar just now, the son picked up. When the son picked up, you know, I was letting them know, hey, I was actually trying to reach out to Robert. He like, oh yeah, that's my dad. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, hey, my name is Lupi. Was reaching out to him about a property over on such and such street. I noticed, you know, people did take a nice punch with both of those storms that hit last year. Was just wondering if he'd be open to entertaining an offer on a property. He said, oh, I don't know. He might. So I like, you know, hey, if I'm not asking, you know, too much, could you actually, you know, get me in contact with him if it's possible? You're like, yeah, sure. I give you his number. So he gave me his number, and I ended up reaching out to the dad and actually having a real nice conversation with him to where that he's open to a cash offer and he's open to terms. But the house, the house may be the price where he is. It may not be a wholesale deal, so terms may just be the best fit for the both of us. So whenever I get done off of here, I'm gonna call my guy on here and reach out to him, Mark, and then I'll be calling and looking up the information on this property out there. See if I can pitch him an offer that makes sense, you know, not only for him but for us as well.
Well, one thing I took away from that recording, and I know this about, you know, just talking to you too, but it's just very, you know, warm and like not rushed. I think that's a really big thing. People get so nervous when they cold call, but like you need to make sure that, at least that's one thing we always learned, was that you need to be slow, and like they always said slow is better, which really caught me off guard, but pauses and things like that help almost like establish a sense of like warmth and like trust there. Cause it's like, I'm not just calling to say, well, sir, would you like to da 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 da?
Right. And you either sound robotic or, you know, you sound like you're a telemarketer.
Right.
So for me personally, you know, I like to add my personal conversation, the way I carry a conversation. I like to keep that as natural as possible. But I still want to make sure that, you know, I'm upbeat. They really know that I'm happy to speak with them first and foremost. and I'm not just the average person that's calling them. Like these people are getting calls like 5 to 10 people a day most of the time, and
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's in the heavy markets. So this market being like super hot, right? When you call somebody out here, people are like, man, this is like my fifth time getting a call, or this is like my 10th time getting a call, and you like, wow, well, this is my first time calling you, and if this will be my last time calling, I make sure I take you out of our list of people to call. But this is our first time reaching out to you. We just wanted to see if you were open to entertaining an offer for the property on such and such street. But if you're not interested, I definitely get it. We'll take you off our list. Well, how did you get our number? Did you see a sign in my front yard? So, you get those all the time too. So, as far as how to deal with the sign in the front yard, you just let them know, hey, we didn't see a sign in the front yard, but we have a group of individuals that go out and search properties, and if these are properties that we went to the street and saw, most likely it's something that I saw with my own eyes, and there was maybe something that I saw that made me feel like the house may need some updates or things like that. And the typical homeowner may not want to do them, and they'll probably feel better off just selling the property. So it'll be one of those situations to where I just reach out to you. That's why I'm calling you. So if it's a list I pulled, then I let them know, hey, the reason why I'm calling it is possibly because you may have some things going on with the property. Like I was on a call with a lady. It was actually on my Instagram live, and she was in the clouds with her price. So I was like, hey, so what about this lien you have for like 30 some $1,000? Like, these are one of the reasons why I have reached out to you, because I had did some homework about properties in the area, and just looking to see if not only I can make some money, I'll be helping somebody in the process. So you don't want to make it based on you just helping because they know that that's just game. You
Yeah.
want to let them know that you provide a particular service. You're a solution based type company, and in return you do get paid, you do make money. So that's what you setting out to do. You help, but you're making money at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I hate to wrap us up, but of course I always have meetings to go to too, and I know you have to connect with Mr. Mark after this. But I wanted to thank you, Lupi, for sharing all your knowledge on cold calling. And again, everyone, we will be here in 2 weeks. And we also are going to be on Clubhouse tonight with one of our onboarding specialists. So hit us up there if you want to see us there. Any last words, Lupi?
What time is the clubhouse?
The Clubhouse is at 5:00. Our customer success onboarding specialist is talking about building a team of drivers and how to keep them motivated.
And that's on Eastern time, five.
Yes, 5:00 Eastern time.
So 5 o'clock Eastern time, everybody, which is 4 o'clock Central time, which is 3 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, which is 2 o'clock on West Coast time. Make sure y'all be there, and don't make me, because I will DealMachine your house.
That's what's up. All right. Thanks, guys.